Does Bobby Drake have cold feet? We're talking Astonishing Iceman number 3 today on The Newest Mutants! Hello, I am Laz, your favorite evil mutant, and I read comics so you don't have to, and today, let's come clean and talk about Astonishing Iceman number 3. So, let's begin. Our story begins with a strange group of young people fronted by Aaron Fisher, the Captain America of the rails. He's using his kinetic shield power to deflect bullets coming from an unknown assailant. As the attacker runs out of bullets, he tells those he is defending to make a break for it. Aaron is then knocked down by what looks like a concussion grenade of sorts, and we see who is attacking the Y-Men. It's Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean calls them bait and posers, which is pretty much the worst thing you can call someone. Cut to the bottom of the Antarctic Ocean where Iceman is underwater, harvesting kelp and sea urchins. Yum. He lovingly prepares a meal for Romeo and himself out of these ingredients. Romeo tells Bobby he's doing great, but he doesn't need to be waited on hand and foot. Iceman is like, you saved my life, and now we're stuck out here with me. And Romeo is like, yeah, I'm out here helping you save mutants. Iceman says, without you, I fall apart. Romeo says, so do I. Aww. Romeo changes the subject and asks, what happens without him? It's Romeo's ability that is keeping Iceman anchored to life and able to live. What if Orcus finds them? Bobby is sure that won't happen, but no time for discussion. Romeo senses terror. They head to the war room to track the source. Back to Mr. Clean and the Y-Men. Now it's time for the Y-Men to turn on their powers that they got through their tattoos. Mr. Clean calls them species traitors. Ooh, that's harsh. And is ready to just shoot them up. Too bad Iceman shows up. He freezes and shatters Clean's crossbow, and before he can react, grabs Mr. Clean by the neck and delivers a cold as ice pun. Right here, you can see it. And then tells the Y-Men to get out of the area so he can handle the fascist. The two begin to duke it out. Clean happens to have a weapon coated in that molecular napalm stuff, the same stuff that killed Bobby at the Hellfire Gala. Clean gets a hit in on Iceman's leg, and Romeo senses it. He senses the panic and concern in Iceman. He tells him, hold on, we've got this, Iceman. While Clean is gloating over Bobby, Aaron Fisher, the Captain America of the rails, hits him in the back by a sneak attack. Meanwhile, Romeo and Iceman are working through the napalm damage that's slowly melting Bobby. Aaron defends a blow from Clean, and then Iceman attacks him with his own leg that was covered in that molecular napalm, having removed it from his body. He drops it, it melts, and he delivers yet another devastating pun. And the best part here is using Mr. Clean's own moisture. I don't know why I did that. He uses Mr. Clean's own moisture to fashion himself a new leg while freeze-drying Mr. Clean. Now Iceman has Clean down on the ground, and Mr. Clean comes clean about mini needle bombs that he placed on the Y-Men. Iceman chooses to freeze these mini bombs, but Aaron Fisher still has a death stick stuck in his kinetic field. Luckily, Iceman flash freezes the explosion and the shrapnel and saves Aaron Fisher. However, Mr. Clean escapes. Now underground, Iceman thanks the Y-Men for the assist, but urges them to be careful. And before he leaves, Bobby leaves them with a warning. They might have wanted pseudo-mutant powers, but now they have the whole package, including the persecution. Before he leaves, though, Iceman shakes the hand of a Y-Man named Lojack. Interesting name. Bobby then makes a comment about getting wet, and that's the longest he's lasted before he turns into a puddle of water. Now on Randall's Island, an Orcus base, Mr. Clean and Pequod are having a conversation. Pequod is calling Clean a failure, but Clean is like, what do you do to a bleeding deer? You chase it. He says his guy already has a bead on Iceman's lair. He'll kill him in his lair, is what Clean says. All Clean needs is a distraction, which he thinks Orcus should provide for him. Back at the ice castle in Antarctica, Romeo is using his ability to reconstitute Bobby, and he's back! Iceman brags about staying frozen an extra 6 minutes longer, but the reunion will have to wait as Romeo senses another spike of terror. Where is Orcus hitting next? Well, we turn the page and we see Spider-Man fighting with Feral, who has been merged with Warlock somehow in New York City. And that's the book! This is the part of the episode where I like to thank you for making it this far, and I like to ask a question about the book that we just talked about. And that question is, do we want to see more Y-Men? And my answer is yes. I like groups like this. It makes me wonder how many active, hero groups, vigilante groups there actually are in the Marvel universe that we never hear about. I especially like weird powers as well. Especially powers that are not like combat abilities. Like, what weird power would you have if you were a Y-Man? Let me know in the comments. Now, back to the show. Time now to give credit where credit is due. First, I have this variant cover issue. It is by Pete Woods. Very nice right here. I like it a lot. Kind of DBZ-ish or something with the ice shuriken. I don't know. It's not even a shuriken. I don't know why I said that. Look, it's a snowball. It's a Rasengan. I think that's, forget it. Look, it's a cool cover. I like it. It's badass. All right. But check out the A cover right here. The Pete Woods cover variant, right? A cover was done by Jesus Saiz. Our writer is Steve Orlando. Artist is Vincenzo Caratu. Color artist is Java Tartaglia. Our letterer is Travis Lanham. And as always, Marvel's editor-in-chief, it's CB Cebulski. Time now for my takeaways on this issue. So we had a good combat issue. A lot of fighting, a lot of action. This has kind of been the bread and butter of the Iceman series. Lots of action with him going out to save the day and then going back to Romeo when he's done or when he melts away. That's what we're getting. And what we're seeing is Iceman getting stronger, and he's able to do more things and stay out longer and not melt so quickly. Now, we saw him get hit with that molecular napalm, and he was able to actually not die from it, which is also pretty cool. And that's a good thing. He's able to calmly, remove his leg and then use it as a weapon. Very smooth. But I think the thing we need to remember here is that Mr. Clean says a very specific thing. He says his guy has a bead on Iceman and where he's living or where he's going. Also, in the scene, a page or two before that, we meet a character named Lojack. Look, do you know what a Lojack is IRL? It is a GPS system that finds stolen cars. So I'm going to call it now and just say Lojack has somehow traced the location of Iceman's base. How? Don't know, but his name is Lojack, okay? The real question, though, is, are Iceman and Romeo ready for this sort of thing? Will Mr. Clean be able to attack the base? We will see. Anyways, that's all my takeaways. Not a lot to discuss on this one. This was a pretty straightforward issue, so let's get to my favorite part of the issue, which is my favorite panels. My third favorite panel in this book is kind of a silly one, and it's the Y-Men. Why? Well, look at them. We have Big Eyes, Radar, Bubbles. Absolute legends. All right. It just stands out, mostly because of Big Eyes, but I find this little squad pretty funny, and it would be cool to see more of them pop up. My second favorite panel is Iceman attacking Clean with his own leg. Iceman's own leg, that is. Lots of good detail here in this action frame. Also, the devastating pun was set up here. Know why I win, Clean? I always keep a leg up. Brilliant writing. Brilliant. I love it. However, my favorite panel goes here to this one, where Iceman is about to chokeslam Mr. Clean into the ground. It's a very dramatic pose, of course. Iceman lands yet another punishing pun against Mr. Clean. Please enjoy this artwork. I know I did. And that's the show. As always, I like to showcase a book from my collection, and today's book is Ultimate X-Men number 9. It's a cover appearance by Iceman. That's the connection. Going through my collection, I couldn't find much connecting Astonishing Iceman number 3 to many of the books in my collection just by a glance. And so I just chose this one. It has an Iceman cover. Let's check it out. I was never a big fan of the Ultimate like framing. You could see like these bars like on the side. But at least you knew which issue it was. So that's cool. And you knew it was an Ultimate comic that way. All the Ultimate comics have sort of this bar on the side. In any case, next time on the show, we're going to be talking about Children of the Vault number 3. It's got Cable. It's got Bishop. It's got children that are not actually children. They're full-fledged adults. They're just called children. Look, until then, this has been the Newest Mutants!